that all the time. That's why I start firing. Well, that's easier
And I
than
have to make a
yours
motion
would
to
be
add
with
an
medication.
agenda item.
So,
So I'm adding on.
well, when you get tired, I'll get,
Todd has
I'll
two.
get it on, next time I see you. I give out to everybody, they're the best $70. You don't have to give it tireless. You don't have to give it. Well, that's easier
Then
than
I have to make a
yours.
motion
would
to add
be with medication. So,
So I'm adding on.
well, when you get tired, I'll get it, I'll keep you reading you.
No, it's just this.
All right, I got it. Got it. Are you over? But, get the value rate. Like, which way we're gonna go.
I'm not getting away from you, but you were sharing.
All right.
Keep it going.
I did that conversation. Love that.
You can go, Tina.
All right, I am going to call to order the town prison board of selectmen. Regular meeting on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Meeting being held at the Griswold Senior Center, 220 Taylor Hill Road. Item number 1, call to order, roll call. Tina Ball, first selectman. Martin McKinney, selectman. Rich Grabowski, selectman. Lisa Wood, executive assistant. Item number 2, pledge of allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to item number 3, approval of minutes. We have October 7th, special meeting minutes, October 7th, special meeting minutes, October 8th, special meeting minutes, October 8th, special meeting minutes, October 9th, special meeting minutes, and October 22nd, special meeting minutes. If you had a chance to review those minutes, I know you said you had.
I'll make a motion that we approve items 3A, B, C, D, E, and F as presented.
I second the motion.
Here we have a motion and a second to approve items 3A through F. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 4, correspondence, letter of resignation from Matthew Bachowitz from the Ethics Commission. Item number 4.
I get to go back to the special.
Have a motion.
We don't need a motion.
And number 5, old business discussion and possible action on update of pickleball courts. With all of the paving that's going on right now, I would like to continue this on, table it until further. It's just not something that we're able to work with right now.
Agreed.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we table this until next meeting.
I second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5B, discussion and possible action on placement of red light cameras. Anything on that or any comment?
Well, unless, from my understanding, it's almost like a moot point because it's the DOT in charge of everything. Yeah, there's no benefit to the town to do it, because the way it's structured right now. That's just my observation.
Yeah,
Do you agree or disagree?
It's, UConn delivered 2 speed enforcement signs last week, and they had a seminar coming up on red light and speed cameras. So I signed up for that. Let's see what they tell us there. I'm sure they'll cover DOT requirements. There's a big concern of the maintenance costs because it's on their signal, so the town would have to pay if they allow them to do it. And we're hearing that a lot of towns have been denied. It sounds like a couple just got authorized. They were on the news, but there's been a few towns that I thought.
And there's no benefit on the fees back to the town, so basically maintenance, so you got.
Yeah.
Maintain.
I haven't got that far.
Generating revenue.
I will take the class and I'll report back. I'll put it back.
So I'd like to make a motion that we table this until further notice.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to table, red light camera placement until further notice.
Once we get further information.
Yeah, table it until we get further.
Absolutely.
So we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5C, discussion and possible action on change of building fees.
We haven't, I know, ordinance committee, there were some people that were sick, that were waiting to, I would meet up with them again. And, right now, with no fault to anybody, we're just waiting for them to get quorum and everybody kind of that way. We'll deal with it when they have their next meeting. There was a form that came out to us about some stuff, all filled out, but sent it back to the chairman. And our intention is to be at the next scheduled meeting, myself, and hopefully work it out. But I will say that, that and zoning and stuff like that, I think we're losing some revenue by not moving.
Do you want to table it?
I don't have anything to report because we're waiting for the next scheduled meeting, which is imminently coming up soon. So we'll table it to the next meeting.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Motion, second.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to table item 5C until a further meeting. All in favor? Aye. Item number 6, new business, discussion and possible action on 13 tax refunds for a total of $2,667.99 as presented by Leona Sharp, tax collector.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 13 tax refunds totaling $2,667.99 as presented by our tax collector, Leona Sharp.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept Leona Sharkey's presentation of 13 tax refunds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 6B, discussion and possible action on social media issues. I have nothing.
I have nothing either.
Okay. Item 6C, discussion and possible action on email from the Ethics Commission regarding proposed changes to the ethics code. This is probably this. Yeah. Have you had a chance to review the changes, or do we have to?
I think most of that was, right?
It appears to be. Well, no, not necessarily.
They want to add a minimum.
Yeah, and I think that that's farther down on the, yeah, it's farther down on the agenda. But, I'd like to table this until our next meeting. Just to go through, because there are, things changing, 3 years to 2 years. I think that it's not necessarily statutory. Okay. All right. Rich, do you have any comments? Do you agree?
I agree. It's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we table item 6C, discussion and possible action on email from the Ethics Commission regarding changes to the ethics code.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, item 6D. Discussion and possible action on appointment of E. Jeffrey Hutchinson as an alternate member of the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission for a term of 10/28/25 to 10/27/26.
I have no problem. I make a motion that we, well, they're all appointed positions in wetlands, right? Yes. So,
So we have a motion? I'll second. Are you reading it?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Okay.
I read it.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 6E. Discussion and possible action on appointment of Christopher Madden as an alternate member of the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission for a term of 10/28/25 to 10/27/26.
I'll make the motion then that we appoint Christopher Madden as an alternate member of the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission for the term of 10/28/25 through 10/27/26.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on appointing Christopher Madden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item 6F. Discussion and possible action on filling a vacancy on the Ethics Commission for a term of 10/9/25 to 10/8/28. They have one vacancy. And we have,
Two.
we have two, interested residents for the ethics. We have, Richard Rosalind, and we have Valerie Wells.
Well, I think it should be me over up there and first, but that's just my.
Lucy, you took these in?
Yes, I did.
Yep. So, Valerie Grills. Hers is dated October 14th, and Richard Wazelik is dated October 9th.
Stand by what we stand by, all the rest of them. They're both qualified individuals.
Very much so.
They did what it is.
Okay. Do
Oh,
I,
I make a motion and, Rich Waddle, the road one.
Mhm.
Oh, Rich Waddle, for the.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? I'm abstaining because you didn't get that.
I got it.
All right, now we move on to number 7, any other business that may properly come before the board. Anybody have anything? I have a couple of things. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to, add on to the agenda a, letter from Gary Surdecki. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to add a letter from Gary Surdecki onto the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And as you can see, you all have a copy of it. He is, no longer going to be a permanent resident of the Business of his design. From England's. So,
It's over with Gary, who's a great guy and gonna be a great guy.
agree,
Thanks, Bill, will be the top of that.
Margaret.
For the call.
Yeah, okay, well, all right, so there's no action to be taken on that.
But if you want to make, you spent a lot of it.
We do, and it was quite a number of years, so yes, thank you to Gary for that. All right, and then I'd like to make a motion to add a letter on from Matt's mission. Can we get a second on that?
Second, okay, 11.
We have a motion and a second to add Matt's mission letter onto the agenda. You all have a copy of that, and, this is a letter from, Matt's mission from Kathy. Letting us know that, they will be, the board of directors for Matt's mission has made a difficult decision to close their nonprofit, Matt's mission, effective January 2nd, 2026. That's a great loss. And I know that, we want to look a little bit further into this, so that they have appropriate recognition. There was also going to be a letter coming which explains their use of opioid, funds for their mission and what they were able to accomplish by use of, those opioid dollars. So,
It is gonna be a real loss.
yes, yes. Yeah. Many years of hard, dedicated work.
It's too much or basically,
Um,
I don't have any background on it.
no, I just think that, they've been doing it for so long. And it could be that they're, I don't know, I don't want to say, I don't want to say that they're tired, I don't want to say,
Okay,
I just think that they've all come to the decision that, you know, it's bittersweet for them.
okay.
Yeah.
So they will be missed.
Yes, so I'm gonna, see about a little bit of recognition for that group, for the board. And I'd like to make a motion to add on to the agenda a request about a building permit fee from the Director of Public Works. Somebody can second that? Here we have a motion and a second to add on building permit fee on the youth center project. Todd, if you want to speak to the board.
So we're gonna be doing roof replacement on the youth center. We have a contract that I'm gonna be signing. But typically we waive the fees on our contract, but we have still to pay the state fee. So that's what I'm asking for.
I'll make the motion then that we grant the release of chart fees for the roof building at the youth center.
That's on the time.
Yeah,
I second.
town property.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to
Wait,
waive the building permit fee on the youth center roof project. All in favor?
right,
Aye. All right, and last, I would like a motion to add on to the agenda transfer station updates.
I'll second it.
And we have a motion and a second to add this onto the agenda. All in favor? Aye. And again, Todd?
So just a couple changes at the transfer station. We just signed up with what they call a cylinder initiative, which is a state partnership recycling. So they're gonna be, we'll be accepting the helium cylinders like you see in Walmart. We'll be accepting propane tanks under 20 pounds. And multiple different types of residential refillable containers and bottles. We will not take oxygen tanks, but we'll take pretty much everything besides that. So it's an addition, we have to put a little bigger fenced in area at the transfer station to accommodate it. We should be starting, I would think, by the beginning to middle of November to accept that.
Is there any extra cost incurred?
So they picked it up, just a little more work we call to get it picked up. Once 3/4 full, they come pick it up.
So we have to do the fencing in the
Yeah,
area.
we use the bigger dog kennel as well.
Oh,
We have more room. Just so you can update for you.
Those tanks have to be empty or no?
Okay.
Tina, I have one thing. Oh, are you voting on that? You don't have to vote on that.
No,
Okay,
no.
so that's done. I have one thing. I just want to make you guys aware for the Ethics Commission, anybody appointed must be by unanimous vote of the selectmen.
Okay,
Just so that motion will not pass.
all right, so how do we go forward?
Put on the next agenda.
I have one more. The household hazardous waste cleanup. And we had 285 cars, which is. 485 cars, sorry.
Yeah, that was
Usually we have about 280. So that was pretty good.
double, yeah, it was busy.
Sorry, Todd, I thought you were done. I said, sorry, I thought you were done.
No,
All right, and just for informational, I would like to make a motion to add one more thing onto this agenda. Regarding animal control.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to add on information that we have received from NECOG regarding our animal control contract with them. I was contacted by Jim Rivers, and as long as I've known, and I think it goes back several administrations, we contract with Northeast Council of Governments for animal control for dog issues, animal issues. They helped with we had a cat boarding situation, and they came in and they were able to help me resolve that. But we did receive word from Jim Rivers that they will no longer, our contract is not going to be renewed come I believe it's July 1st. So we have to start looking at other alternatives. They did give me the list of towns down this way that will also be in the same boat that we're going to be in without a contract. So we're going to have a little bit of time to work with it, but we have to make a decision on how we're going to move forward, either with other towns. Regional.
Volatile government, same.
No, Volatile is part of NECOG, but they may decide, because I think we were our contract, we were paying $49,000 a year. So it may be, I know Spray.
Right, pardon.
There were several other towns.
No,
No. No, they're not. And our Southeastern Council does not offer this benefit. So it's something we're gonna have to kind of either fly solo or fly with other towns.
This is a very expensive process.
It is, but we have to start doing the research. I did go up. I looked briefly at the dog pound as it stands right now. I have the contact from the state. It's from the Department of Ag, who's going to come down and do a walkthrough to say, you will need this, this, and this. So
I think.
we'll know exactly what's
Even
going on.
ones, I mean, it's pretty substantial.
Right, but that's why I'm having, just so that I don't want to guess that this is what it's gonna be. I want the state to tell us, this is what you need. And then that'll help make a decision going forward.
Okay.
Montville, I think Montville has their own, they're not taking any additional towns in with them, so there's a little bit of research to do on this, a little bit of homework.
Okay.
So, okay, that's all I have. Anybody else, any other business that may probably come before the board?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay, then we're gonna move on to item number 8, public forum. Yes.
Hi. I'm Cynthia Swift, and I live at 141 Chicago Turnpike.
Yes.
And I had an incident that happened at my farm last week with a neighbor's dog. So what happened, for you, those who don't know, is that my neighbor has a new dog. It's a pit bull. They have 2 pit bulls. One of them is new to that as of a year, both are on a leash. They pulled away from the owner. They came down on my property. They chased my horses. They created a very scary scene. One of my horses was bit, had its like skin torn, and I basically was trying to go through all the right steps, which I still have some questions about. One was I didn't call the state police because I think that was the first place. And I did tell the owner when the owner finally did appear that I can put this on record. The dog was very, very aggressive, and you saw the video.
I did.
The dog, the more injured that dog got, the more it wanted to go after the horses. My chickens were loose, free roaming, my dogs were moving. That dog was focused on one horse in particular and bit it multiple times and broke the skin across and tore it. So anyway, the state police said, call NECOG, so I did. was after their hours. Left a message. Didn't hear from them the next morning, called back, they eventually called me back. They said they would go up to the house. Meanwhile, I did have conversations with my vet, I had to go pick up medicine for my vet for the horse, and anyway, so they never went to the house. They never, I had to keep calling them for a follow-up. They never went to the house to see the dog. The dog, they said, the reason being the dog was at a hospital. The dog suffered internal injuries. It didn't stop with internal injuries going after my horse. The dog had blood coming out of its mouth because it was injured in the mouth. Didn't stop it. Nikon basically put the dog on house arrest for 10 days,
10-day quarantine.
and that's it.
I know. I don't agree with that. Now, I did speak, I spoke with Jen, the director there. I asked her to send a report of what had happened. Now, when you and I spoke on Saturday, the 10-day quarantine is the statute. And unfortunately, we can't change that. It can't be changed. Now, when I spoke with you, I saw the video. The video was highly disturbing. When I talked to Jen today, she said that she has been in touch with the owners of the pit bull. And I told her, I said, you know, that you are afraid of when you're down there riding your horse or out there, you have the trauma of wondering, is the dog going to break loose again? She said she was confident, or she felt confident, and she wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt that they would work diligently to keep the dog contained. All right, we can't force them to do anything different, but I did suggest to you, and I don't know if this had happened. You mentioned to your neighbor about their homeowner's insurance. Were you able to contact your homeowner's
I
insurance?
did, I hired State Farm, and then they basically said, we can't contact their insurance, you gotta get a lawyer to write a letter, and maybe that's how, but
They're not
they
able
said-
to
No, they said,
research
this is
which insurance, which homeowners they have? Okay,
And the other thing is, how do I know how we're gonna, they have nothing, he mentioned, they don't have any fenced in yard. They said they couldn't put in a fenced in yard, and I don't know if anyone knows where their house is within proximity to mine, but that's where my pasture is. That dog has a view of my pasture and it's looking out at my horse day in and day out. They were thinking about getting in one of those corkscrew things and putting like a wire rope to tie that dog up. That dog is a pit bull from New York City that they got as an adult with no known prior history. I do not feel comfortable knowing that that dog lives where it lives, that I can't even roam my woods or ride my horses or on my own property. Knowing that, what if I was on my horse when that happened? In fact, I was getting ready to work with one of my horses.
I understand, but unfortunately, the town's hands are tied as far as what NECOG has to go by state statute.
So who's liable for injury here?
Then it becomes a civil issue. It becomes a civil matter. If there were an ordinance in place, which we do not have, the town or the borough, you don't have anything in the borough for that. We typically go, not typically, but we have to go by NECOG's rules. And the rules are whatever the state mandates, and we had an issue with the gentleman in the White House, remember, Lori? And I think I told you about this. There was a dog bite in the parking lot of the town hall. And again, it was simply 10-day quarantine, and they would say to the owner, and oh, by the way, going forward, if it happens again, then you will get, you will receive a ticket. And that's what they told your neighbor.
That's a
Can
ticket.
I talk to them?
Yes, of course.
We would, for 14 years.
I just need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Drive,
Thank you.
063. Anyway, There's gotta be some like. I mean, we're both over 65 years old. I guess we're the only, I don't know, but, we also have, we go, one's a dachshund. That it will, the dachshund will be dead.
Yeah.
It will kill them. We have border, it will be dead. They don't have that kind of mindset, you know, they're happy or, you know. I have a grandson who's over, 3.5 years old. Now, the state has to have some liability, knowing that this is a vicious animal that attack in the courses of the veterinary. This is ongoing, this isn't done.
The horse is
The-
not.
the horse's leg is infected. I don't know what, I mean, the cost isn't really high yet, but it's ongoing. This is a vicious animal.
I agree.
Yeah, but there's gotta be liability, there's gotta be something who's saying, well, we're gonna go to the news media and let them come in and understand what's going on.
You could,
Well, we have to.
but the thing,
You know,
have you talked to an attorney, because it's going to be.
civil matter.
It's going to be a civil matter, because we have, the town and most towns have nothing in place
No, I'm
to
not,
pursue this.
not.
And we, already all our
We've got to
animal this one. Keep up.
To me, right.
Yeah, but the thing about wood course, it could be 3 years, 5 years.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like it's gonna happen. It's not a big result. We're still going to be having a feeling, I mean, behind our property, we have, I don't know how many acres fenced in, like say 10 acres. No, fenced in. So.
If you live in fear, that's what I'm not right. We don't know what's.
No.
But behind our house, we have woods that we're walking in. Now we gotta. We can't even have our own dogs. With us.
No, it shouldn't be like that, but there's nothing in place that can be done legally. And I'm sorry for that, but
I mean, couldn't they say the dog, they needed to put a muzzle on the dog, or they need to do this, although that would stop it from chasing it, but it would stop it from biting, but can't they require them to do something?
I can ask Jenna. I can ask, but I think it's going to be one of those.
And in response, she did say it was a severe attack. I mean, she
Yes. Oh, it was.
But she,
Oh, it
it was
was.
a severe attack. I thought that they don't have to have 3 incidences. I thought that it goes, I don't know, in front of like a board and people vote and decide, okay, this was a severe attack. We don't have to have 3 instances. This dog should be euthanized.
I will tell you that in town. I can tell you of at least 3 pit bull attacks, people in their apartments. We had a child. And it was the family pit, and the pit attacked the 2-year-old child and practically bit its face off. There's not a lot of protection out there. And I hate to say it. And I cringe when I have to say it. But, there's really nothing right now.
Isn't there a law that says all animals have to be leashed at least, if nothing else? They can't be left to roam free.
If they leave their property, but the other thing that was said, and I'm gonna check, and I did make a note, and that's why I have an email here from Jen. I knew that you were gonna be coming tonight, but the dog is not licensed in town. And they did determine that, so I wanna go down to the clerk's office to find out, and I don't know what the, what the policy is if they're not licensed, but that's the next step for me. But I know,
I mean, they have 2 dogs. The other one, I think they're both pit bulls. The other one was just interested in the horses, but this particular one, and I don't know why the dad said rehabbing it. It's just, it's a bad egg.
why does a family pit bull go after a 2-year-old face?
When I was driving home from work Saturday night at 5 o'clock, 4:35. They said, there's like 200 different types of dogs. If you make the decision to have a dangerous animal on your property, there comes with responsibility. I mean, they didn't get approval, they didn't get, something that we care less about horses. We, a lot of dogs really don't care about horses. I mean, they just don't care. This one wants to attack. I know the best thing for us to do probably is to figure out who the insurance company is, because they'll lose their insurance. If their insurance company,
Absolutely.
they can lose, yeah, because
Absolutely. I would, have you talked to an attorney?
no, we just really don't want this to get over right. You know, we're trying to get a.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, sorry.
Speak to it.
But the other thing is, we don't want to be hostile with our neighbors, you know, what I mean, we're trying to just like.
No, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm gonna check with the clerk's office tomorrow. I would suggest talking to an attorney because it is on a civil level. So,
I
definitely,
mean, we know we just didn't want to.
I know, I understand. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I probably had a lot more weight than I hate to say it. If there's a second, you know what I mean, that's the problem, we give everybody, our society gives everything we can,
Sorry, but it's still.
you know, and I don't mean to disrespect it, but that's.
No, no,
You'll have a lot more rights with, I don't, it doesn't happen, but that's.
I was lucky, I was home, I was lucky.
No, I don't want to have to say that, but it's just-
no.
We don't know what we're gonna.
yeah, I agree, and. I'm just being a real.
All right, so Cynthia, I will be in touch with you. Okay,
And if I can just add a comment.
Yes.
And with your permission, I can talk to the resident troopers and that's far, but I can have conversation with them, from what I've always been aware of, that we do not have a leash law. You know, everybody asks that, there's no leash law, there's no leash ordinance. However, I believe that the state requires, no roaming in public places and no roaming on private properties. That belongs to somebody else, right? So I think what, again, with your permission, I talk with the revenue report and just kind of see, you know, what you would suggest, and then I get back to Tina or get back to you, however you want to work.
And before I forget the word correction, they stated this was the first time the dogs were roaming, they were roaming one other time, I just didn't know whose they were. My horses were in the barn, so they were not, they didn't have access to them. And they saw my dog, and my dogs kind of looked up and barked, and maybe ended up in that direction to that house. And I didn't know that they had dogs, so I can't mention people behind them, because I thought maybe they had visitors and it was their dogs, so I said no. So this is the second. And same color dogs as those dogs.
well, I do have a gentleman's name number too. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to reaching out to ask if they're gonna be considering any type of containment.
Well, the other thing, they can relocate this particular dog too, I mean, that could be an option too. I'm sure that it's their dog, they don't want to get rid of it, but. And we don't know these people, we have nothing against them, we really don't even know, even if they are neighbors.
Is there a goblin or anything like
They
that?
adopted this one,
Out of New York
They
City.
haven't had it long, so it's too attached.
Yeah, yeah,
they got to think of things, you know, well.
I feel like, why do you have kids?
I heard about that.
Yes, most definitely.
You would think as a homeowner, they would be extremely concerned that this is a huge liability on their part with a vicious dog like this. I knew when I did daycare in my house, my kids I never had any animals because I could not trust any animals. I was too afraid with my own liability on my house. I'm not willing to take that kind of liability, and the dog can snap at any minute, and that's what this dog did. Hopefully, Glenn's grandson is not there when this dog comes back. They will come back. It will come back.
Sorry, as a point, as a point of, thank you. I'm just reminding everyone that when you speak, you have to state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Okay, so we all have a little bit of research to do. So,
But the town is not liable, we can't.
Okay, thank you for.
well, they're responsible, they're not liable. Okay, is there, yes,
To that point. if
Rich?
you-
Rich.
I'm sorry, Rich.
Thank you.
If you remember, probably 10 years ago, the woman in Norwich, Sherry Spear, she had pit bulls. And a lady was walking her granddaughter in a carriage with a stroller down the street, and the pit bulls come out and maul the kid and maul the grandmother. And they wouldn't even put them dogs down. Those dogs ended up living the rest of their life in the North Dog Pound because she dragged her through the court system for years, and that's where they died, was in the dog pound.
I remember.
So it's very difficult to get anybody to advocate for people like this,
Yeah.
against dogs like that,
I agree.
and that happened.
And we,
I remember that.
and we're dog, we're animal.
I volunteer for the North New England Great Pyrenees Rescue, so if you ever find a Great Pyrenees roaming and you don't know what to do, call me.
All right, any other public forum?
Thank you, 59 Minute Avenue. I understand last meeting was mentioned that an agreement had been reached on the Petrillo property. I was curious if that agreement went through. And if the property is still condemned. And if they still have to clean it up with the collapsed roof and everything.
It is still in the court, waiting for a final decision. It's, it never ends. The town technically does own the property. But then there was an additional suit filed. Against, I think, about the amount of taxes back over the years. It's gone around and around and around so many times. So it is still in the court's hands.
We are getting a lot closer.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
But is it still condemned and still got to be cleaned up?
I think they're in phase 2 of the brownfield grant. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes,
I'd have to go over, on the dog pound issue. My understanding is when I came in after Kevin's school check, that as long as we kept that as a mothball dog pound for grandfather.
mothball,
Well,
So we didn't do away with it. It alleviates that big financial upgrades that could be required to shut it down. The other thing we did.
if we were to shut that down and rebuild, you'd be talking big dollars.
yeah, $250,000.
Heated floors, heated runs.
Right, and I think the septic system issue now, wasn't it?
What's that?
Septic system.
We fixed the septic system.
Oh, did you?
Yep. And the other thing to look at when we had our dog warden with the fight, I filled in for the 6 months. We were talking with Plainfield, they do it through their police department, we did talk with them. And I think Kevin at that time decided to go with DCOG, but there was some conversation, it might be worth reaching out to people if they get it.
Thank you. Police department?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had an insulating agreement with Lisbon and Plainfield. If we didn't have somebody on it, we talked to them.
Do you know what Lisbon does?
Lisbon had their own, but then they went with NECOG. I think Lisbon is sprayed or with NECOG.
Did they get canceled off?
Either that or they formed their own because they were looking at.
All right, I'll reach
Yeah.
out. Okay. Thank you. Any other public forum? Yes, ma'am?
Laura Sweater, 67 Ashland Street, I just wanted to invite the board and anybody else to our borough meeting on the 3rd of November, where we will be discussing block cameras. So I'd be interested in hearing the questions from you guys and whether or not you'd be interested in
Pursuing it
also. Our board has not heard this presentation. I have had contact with the block safety company.
Just get let me know what it look like.
Yes, so I think it would be kind of by your discussion and so it's November 3rd at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, and you're having the company come in to do
We are.
a present? Okay.
Yes, a representative from you. The other thing that we are going to discuss is, if you remember the Connecticut Resilient Connecticut project, and that's been a long time coming. They kind of settled that up a little bit, and I do have documents, and they are asking us to apply for a grant for a more intensive scope. And I do have the agency that they want us to apply to a grant, for a grant from, but I don't have top thing in my head, I'm in office. But, we've also been discussing that, and I'll be asking the board to make that decision whether we want to go forward in applying for that grant.
What is it do? Like,
It's a
redevelopment now?
no, it's a resilient, it's a mitigation, flood mitigation project down on South Main Street.
Oh,
South Main Street area.
the sewer pumps.
Well, no, the pump station is like a second phase of that, but it's more of a flooding. You know, they're owned by that residential, that, yeah, 2-year flood, 5-year flood, and all of that kind of stuff. But, this grant that they are suggesting that we apply to has no match and no, it has no implication. So if we even get the grant and they do the scope and we decide not to move forward, because then we have to maybe go to the SIF or someplace else, then there is no penalty or anything, you know, for that. They did say, I asked about the SIP, match, because there is a match for SIP. And, they said that this grant that we would apply for could possibly pick up that match. So there's things in the works, but I don't know if my board is gonna be interested in
How
pursuing
expensive?
it. I'm sorry?
How expensive is it?
The grant offering goes up to $600,000, this one.
Right.
But I don't know how much they would suggest. I would still be working with Circa, which is a group out of Yukon that started this.
And you know what they're charging for? They're charging some.
They're not charging.
Oh,
No, this is something that they picked up as a project. They have done some other flood mitigation projects over on the west side.
okay.
So I remember, Tina, you were involved in the early talks about that. And Jewett City was picked just because of the flood way back when they almost lost the sewer.
2010.
38.
No. Yeah. So anyway, we'll be having that discussion also. So if you'd like to come, I'd love to have you, you know, come in and add to it.
Okay.
You too, Todd.
Any other public forum? Hearing none.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second at 6:46. All in favor?
Aye.